Hello friends. Okay, so I've been getting a lot, well, not a lot. I've been getting sorry. I have gotten a lot of questions about different ways to activate energy, how can I feel it more, etc. And a lot of people struggle with this. I've made a couple videos, I think, certain places where I outlined a few of these techniques, but they either haven't seen them, or they're just still curious, or they're not feeling energy. And this is people that either have the Ikadua or some type of Reiki and so on. There are some people who are just content to intend, and just kind of sit there with their hands over a person or over themselves or wherever, over a crystal or whatever, and just trust that the energy is flowing. And that is enough. Don't get me wrong, that is enough. But a lot of people want to actually feel energy, and you can actually feel energy, and I think you should, because everybody has that ability. There are a couple of things, I might address this later, because a lot of people are so into garlic and onions these days. They're like, eat garlic, eat onions, they're like incredible for you. Whereas actually I disagree. If you look into the Ayurvedic literature, you want to eat, as a person who is seeking enlightenment, a completely sattvic diet, I believe it is, which does not include anything like garlic and onions. It does not include a lot of the spicier, peppery, stimulating things, because these things disrupt your mind and they disrupt your energy flow. Garlic in particular, and onions, hates the Ikadua. For some reason, I mean, and the person Coyote will tell you this, don't eat any garlic if you're going to go and have an Ikadua transmission, because it's a lot harder to sense the energy, and it's a lot harder to push the energy into a person's system when they've been eating a lot of garlic and onions. And that being said, I gave him something once, and the first thing he did before he touched it was say, "This hasn't touched any garlic, has it?" I was like, "What? Are you crazy?" No! I gave him a bottle of Ormus a long time ago, and it was like, it was a little tiny 1 ouncer, and it was just a gift, you know, I wanted him to have it. And I was like, "No, it hasn't touched any garlic." Anyway, it's just in his tradition that you don't eat garlic and onions. He calls it slave food. I do eat garlic and onions, don't get me wrong, but I have noticed that there are certain times during my energy work where something with garlic in it is a lot harder to push energy through. You might have a completely different experience. Anyway, so I recommend, if you're really trying to become more sensitive to energy, that you stop eating garlic and onions for a little while. Just a suggestion, just an idea, do your own research. So diet does have something to do with these types of things. I'm not sure where I was going. That was probably it. Anyway, some other things I wanted to cover are just hand positions. The prayer mudra is good for sensing energy because it creates a very strong circuit. When you're in this position, you want to make sure that you're not pressing your hands together too hard. You want to be just very gentle, and you want to make sure they come completely together. That being said, there's another one which I do not consider the prayer mudra, and I know that there's a name for it, I just don't know the name, which is like this, which is like a vessel or a cup. This is very good for accumulating energy in between your hands, and you just intend that the energy accumulate in between your hands, and you will start to feel it build up and build up and build up inside. You can sort of create a chi ball this way. Most people do it like this, and of course this is another method. You can just do this and back and forth, slowly, 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 and just intend that the energy accumulate out of your hands, out of your hands, out of your hands, into this little space, and get tighter and tighter and tighter, and then you can push those energy balls out. But I like this one in particular, and there are like 3 stages of this particular method, which I say is the prayer mudra, and that is like there's a complete circuit within your body, and you send the energy, and it's going back into your body, and it's circulating, and it's circulating, and it's circulating, and it's a closed circuit, a completely closed circuit. This is not a completely closed circuit. It sort of lets things spill, and if you can see the other side, it's just like this. And I prefer, and this is a weird one, to push my thumbs down like this, so that they're in the base right here. This is extremely powerful for me, okay? Because when you're doing energy healing on a person, you don't go like this. You don't necessarily even go like this. You go like this. At least that's what I do. And that really focuses energy, because energy tends to come out either of the palm in some people, or out of just above the palm, in between the line between the ring finger and the middle finger, or closer to the middle finger, and right around here. These points are called the mermas. I don't exactly know what that terminology comes from, but Coyote the shaman uses it a lot. And it's in each hand. And so when I'm doing this, I make sure all my fingers are closed, it's cupped, and that I don't just let this thing, my thumb, come up here. It has to be down and tucked in a little bit like that, if you can see. There. It's a pretty serious cupping. So when I'm doing this, I find if my thumbs are open, then there's a certain amount of energy flow, and if I bring them down, that energy flow really, really ramps up. And this is another point that I've been wanting to make for a long time when you're dealing with this kind of stuff. A tiny variation in your hand or finger position, or your shoulder position, or your spine position, makes a huge difference in energy flow in general. And once you purified a lot of nadis and chakras and meridians and all that kind of stuff, tiny little movement, a tiny little shift in position, you feel, whoa, oh my god, you know, I just felt that completely go in an opposite direction, not an opposite direction, but I really felt the energy channel that I was just blocking there, or that I didn't have connected, and now something's flowing through. So that's a good point to make. I hope this video isn't too random, sorry. Yeah, 3 positions. Okay, completely closed circuit, open circuit. Wanted to make the point about pushing this down, thumbs together, and you can accumulate energy. And what I like to do, this is something that most people won't say, is I will let the energy accumulate, then I open and blow it out. It can be very refreshing. It can also be a way, I use this as a sort of simple, quick manifestation technique. Once I feel like my intent, I'll put an intent in there. I want to have a safe journey on my way to downtown today, you know, and just make sure I will let the energy build. I will activate the Akadiwa, or I'll activate any type of energy, Reiki, whatever you work with, and stick the intent in between your hands. Activate the energy, let it accumulate with the intent. Don't think about anything else. And then once you feel that it's right, and it just has to be intuitive, blow it out into the universe, and you'll feel, if you're sensitive enough, you'll feel the energy spread. Okay, and then the third one is steepling. This is what I call steepling. I got it from a book on reading somebody's personality through their body language. It was a book on body language. And they called this steepling, because a lot of business professionals will do this when they're talking to you, like, yeah, it's a really good idea, you know, that kind of thing. And so it makes somebody feel in control, in power, or whatever, because it's not just a sign of authority, but it's a sign of authority, because when you do this, all your energy points on your fingers are connected, and you're letting all of that energy flow through you. That's another closed circuit, but you know, the energy between your hands, specifically coming out of these points right here, is allowed to flow more freely. So you're still interacting energetically a little more than you would if you're going like this with the external world, but it still gives you a sense of balance and control and completion within yourself. This is a really, really powerful one for building up energy, especially the Akadiwa, at least for me. Somebody just told me recently that they weren't really taking to the steepling. I don't know if this is what he was doing exactly. And then you can have different experiences with it. Like I said, a subtle shift in position will make a huge difference. So you might feel the energy more strongly like this, with your arms just barely, you know, out. You might feel it more if you put your hands like this and whoa, wow, that's a complete difference. I totally feel the energy now. Or you might just feel it this way. You might not feel it at all here. You know, everybody's different, but this is my experience. Yes. Middle finger, those points I was just talking about, opposite at the same time. Put them together and then put the fingers down like this. This is another sort of closed circuit, and you're dealing with that energy channel that does come out of this little area right here. And you can just say, okay, here, you don't even have to say energy activate, Reiki on, I activate the Ikaduwa and my own energy, for whatever. You just hold right there and be gentle, don't push too hard, and just have the awareness and intention that the energy is activating, and feel it activating. Don't push it, don't think about it too much. Just feel what your hands feel like with the intent. With intent? It's an inside joke, sorry. And just let it sort of slowly melt out of you. There are some other ones that I could mention, which are a little more difficult. Oh, something you can do with the Ikaduwa, and I'm not going to stand up and do it for you because it sort of makes sense. You put both of your hands out like this, like a T stretch or like a tree Qigong pose, and then you lift your hand when it's all the way outstretched slightly up, both hands. And so you're at a T and then slightly up with the hands. That really activates an energy circuit out into the world, and you can feel it, and sometimes it comes up or whatever. If you know you're familiar with Qigong or Tai Chi, you can go into that whole experience. But anyway, that's one of them. And something else that I have been working with, the first one I'll mention is something that they taught me a long time ago. You can do this, put your these fingers down here and these fingers here. So you're making another closed circuit. You don't want to go like this, really. I mean, this is a mudra, and it's a powerful mudra, but you know, you can sit there and meditate like this or whatever. But if you're directing energy outwards, oh, this is a good point. You usually want to have a closed circuit and then an open circuit, so that things are closed and then okay. Well, having said that, to keep energy inside of your body, this is something that I do when I'm walking, because I don't like to spread my energy out. And this is from the Castaneda literature. Don Juan always said that he should hold his fingers here like this when they're walking. Just gently hold them like this, so that you have basically closed fists. I mean, you don't want to go like this, you don't want to go like this, you know, and like really clamp down or whatever, but just gentle, gentle close. And you can go like that. It's a little more robust. I just kind of like let my thumbs rest here on the side, and it really keeps your energy inside. I've gotten so accustomed to it that when I don't do it, I feel my energy spilling out all over the place when I go on a walk, and it just feels really uncomfortable for me. You will get a lot more tired if you're exercising and you don't do that. If you're running on a treadmill, run with your hands like this. You will be able to go farther and stronger than you ever have before. I guarantee it. Something I will guarantee, because I learned that pretty early on. I would go for a lot longer if I just very comfortably, you're not digging down in or whatever to get the energy in. You know, you're just gently doing that, and you know, making it comfortable and jogging like that, and you'll be just fine. And going on a hike, I noticed it too. Then the other one I wanted to say, this is something I learned from Kunlun. Two more actually. Which one first? It doesn't matter. Going from this position, same position, one hand on the chest, one on the stomach, over the stomach area, over the belly button. They're called traveling hands. And then you, wait, let's see, you lift the pinkies. And that turns on a certain circuit. And you can meditate with this and you'll have interesting experiences. That's a technique in Kunlun, but that aside, what I've been doing is applying it for spot healing. I do this one, and this is the one I was taught, and you can use these like little lasers, I was told, you know, and you push the energy out in this little thing. Keep these down here, these ones together. You can use both hands, one hand, and you can use, these are particularly good when you're like self-healing, and you can do it on the lymph nodes and little areas that you really want to target well and powerfully, that are small. You can try it on chakras if you want to, and you'll, you know, but that's not necessary. It's also good to get this back here, what I call the animal eye, which is just like right at the top of the spine where it meets the skull, that little crook in the neck and head, and that there and this here, and let the energy flow. And that's a really good one to get things cleared out and to have more powerful experiences. Third eye, animal eye, or I think some people call it the Alta Major or something like that. I did a video about it once and I was starting to get familiar with it. You can do that, and then you can do different pressure points or energy points across your body. So a powerful one right here is like a little bit below the armpit right here. You'll notice that it's extremely sensitive usually, or it might be a little red, or you know, depending on your body type and your energy and what's going on with you. But what I'll do is you can do both of them at the same time, or you can just do one. Make sure you balance it out with the other. You can do under here. You can do right here, which is like right. Excuse me. Just ate dinner. Yes. Right under the collarbone. So where's my collarbone? It's like right here and then right here. There's this another spot, and it's also tender. You'll notice that it's tender. Different places, maybe for headache. I've never really used it for, you know, just certain points around here in the nostril. Yeah, what am I thinking? Sinus area and all that kind of stuff. Over here, under here, and wherever else on the body. It's a little place you want to attack. That being said, the one I found really interesting lately is combining sort of two techniques of what I just covered. Is I go like this, and I only put together, don't want to do that yet, well fine, I only put together the thumb and the first 3 fingers, but I do keep the little pinky right here. Oh, there's another thing I want to do. This is turning into a long video and I've been talking fast. You can use this exactly the same way. I really feel an energy build up, like my hand, like I'm completely shaking, but I can just, you know, feel it like it wants to release. And what I've been doing is I've been finding the spot that I'm going to spot heal, and then I'll lift the pinky. And that is an on switch, just like with the traveling hands. This is off, this is on, and with both of them. So it's an on switch. It's a signal to you, your intention. When I flip up my pinky, then that's turning the energy on. Same thing with these. I'm going to spot heal these 2 sensitive areas right here. That turns on the energy. Now, to end, that's the thing I wanted to mention. This can be a really good way. Just take one hand. If you're getting used to energy healing, take one hand, take the other hand, and tend to just feel with this one. So just let it be loose and sensitive and relaxed. And then use this one to send the energy. And turn it on. Sending, 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 sending. And just sense. Be relaxed. If your hands want to move out a little bit, just let them move out. Just get used to it. Don't force it. Don't push the energy or whatever. Just turning it on, whether it's Reiki, Akane, well, whatever, and send it, send it, send it, and then turn it off. And then notice the difference. Shake out your hands, do whatever, you know, walk around the house, have a beer, and then turn it on. Sense, 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 sense. What's happening? What's happening? What do I feel over here? What do I feel in here? Turn it off. And once you can start to do that, then it is a signal to your subconscious, I never say unconscious, to your subconscious that this means on. And your energy that you have is intelligent and it's going to flow. When you have some weird signal like that, it sort of interrupts the mental processes that get in the way. Is the energy flowing? Do I feel it? Did it really turn on? Is it working? Is it working? Is it working? You know, and all those stupid mental things that we have because you just decide on and off. That's all there is to it. Okay? And then you don't need a physical sign or pose or anything necessarily to turn on energy eventually. You just intend that it flow and you'll be able to start feeling it. But if you do a technique like that, then you can sort of train yourself this is on, this is off, and sense everything in between. Okay, you might sense the tingling, you might sense heat, you might sense coolness, you might sense pulsating energy. That's a common one. You might smell things. This is a funny phenomenon I found out before, is that certain energies can evoke certain smells, and you'd be like, why did I just start to smell flowers? You know, it's weird. Maybe it only happens to me. I'm crazy. I don't know. Anyway, that's my little video on some different energy healing techniques, and again, they can be used with any healing modality. They can be used with Onnamai Reiki. I know a lot of you who are asking for Onnamai Reiki attunements from me want to know about this kind of stuff, so this is for you. Some people have good times. Some people who have the Akadua have contacted me and say, you know, sometimes I can feel it, sometimes I feel like it doesn't activate at all. What do I do? So these are some things that you can do. I guess, you know, all of these in general are considered mudras. I do this all the time. I don't know even where it comes from. I think it comes from the Kuji-in. The Kuji-in are Japanese, originally Buddhist mudras, which are extremely powerful. I suggest you look into those. But any mudra, yeah, that's a tough one. Yeah, creates a circuit in and of itself. You don't have to have an energy modality to start to sense the differences in your own energy by doing mudras. But that being said, mudras can help you sense energy in general, and even so with Reiki, with the Akadua, with anything. Okay? That is my more than 2 cents. Okay.